How many people heard the radio broadcast this morning? Anybody? Oh, so you won't even get it. This guy slept through the whole thing. Made me go by myself.
According to Jaron, the ticket sale doubled after your appearance on the radio program.
It was the sound of my smooth voice.
Yeah. And maybe you ought to actually do something to earn your keep, you know what I'm saying? How many bass players we got in the audience? Exactly. Oh. Not even a real instrument.
4 strings, but you only use 1.
Guitar players for dummies.
Hold on, let me put out your set list.
Dude, if you at least played all 4 strings, that'd be something, but... What's your safe zone like between here and here?
G string. Nothing yet?
That's very quiet.
That's not right.
Here, you play it, and I'll set it.
It's not a good thing. Definitely louder. Gotta love it. Sound check, what's the point?
Quit your day job, stick to bass, dude. Way above your pay grade.
What's so funny about that?
No, that's coming, believe me. But look, remember you were asking me about what you do with the clitty? What you do with the clit, remember?
It's more about how you grip that neck.
That's the other side of the coin, my friend. You know all about that. Dude, we're becoming sort of like a team here. This is cool. But you know, I know what happens. I know. No. I see the writing on the wall. You ever seen what's that movie with Barbara Streisand? A Star is Born. Where eventually my star starts to fade, and then you show up for sound check.
So my Barbara Streisand? Or?
I don't know. You're the one that like goes up, and I'm the one that goes down. Well, no. Whoa.
It's about age.
I walked myself into that one. Fuck. Hey, that's not on my list. I just list them jokes, and I'm not going to use any of them because they're dumb, dude. The first one, my first thing I'm supposed to say is when I walk out is, hello, right? And then, does my cock smell funny? And that's not, like, well, they thought it was, that one guy thought it was funny. I don't know. I think, actually, I feel compelled to try to be funny because we're in this venue, but really that's not why we're here, right? So, I just wanted to tell you guys a little bit about myself and the way I came up as a guitar player and how I developed as a guitar player. My parents were very strict, and my father especially insisted that I go to a theological seminary. So I was a Catholic, and I was trained to be a priest. Went to Catholic school. I was an altar boy, and I was intended on being a priest. So I went into the seminary, and I met this nun there, Sister Regina Marion, or something like that. Mary Regina. Anyways, she's very strict, as nuns tend to be, but she was a guitar player, and she introduced me to the instrument, and it was pretty cool. And she was really interesting because, she had this habit, no, she did this thing, alternate picking. I don't know if you know alternate picking. And so and that's where I learned that. And she was actually kind of like a shredder, in the context of when I was going to school, which is in like the mid-60s or something, early mid-60s. Yeah, it was just crazy. This nun, and she was just kind of a beast on the guitar. But anyways, so some of my early influences, my father would have me listen to all this stuff like Lorinda Almeida, the Brazilian jazz guitarist, like legendary, and this and that. And I also took Joe Pass's advanced jazz guitar course in theory, and this and that. And so that's led me to what I do today, which is kind of like something like this. Like this. You know what I'm saying? And then I throw some tapping in, right? You know what I'm saying? And then with the whole thing is it's the way you do it. You gotta believe it. You know what I'm saying? And it's almost like you're speaking like from your soul. And then that leads to people are looking at me seriously. You don't get the joke? Are you serious? What is wrong with you, dude? What the fuck? Did you see that?
I thought you were serious too.
No, you didn't. We talked about this in the hotel room, remember? It didn't go over like I thought it would. Fuck these notes, dude. So should I try some of these or what?
You should just tell him about Don Jocken's jacket.
His jacket? Take off your pants and jacket? Oh, the other night we were playing with Dokken and sniff the glove, basically. He just says the weirdest shit between songs. I mean, I just said a bunch of weird shit. So. But anyways, he's like, my jacket, it was like 1,200 people here, and he's like, oh, fuck, my jacket stinks. I had this, and I think I brought it up, right?
It's the same jacket from '86.
Right. So he always was really proud of this trench coat. It's this leather trench coat he's been wearing since, 1979, when we started out, in Germany, and he can't fit into it anymore, and it's all ripped in the back, and sleeves go up to here, and his pot belly's hanging out. But he's like, he thinks it's legendary, like Michael Jackson's red jacket or something. I'm like, dude, get a new jacket, a new trench coat. But who wears a trench coat? So he's like, it stinks, and he says it in the crowd, and he comes up to me and he sticks his sleeve in my face and goes, sniff the jacket. I was like, fuck you. Remember? That's what I told him, remember? And then I beat him up, remember? I threw him off stage, and then I sang way better than him, remember? And then I got a record deal. I got a big record deal, dude, and I changed my last name to Dokken. Yeah, but I spell my name Don, but D-A-W-N, Don Dokken. Yeah, so I got peace on life, dude. Career's gonna be advancing like fucking through the stratosphere in the future, dude. It's gonna be good, for sure. I'm all by myself once again. I got that new song, right? Oh, I gotta change it. I gotta change it up a little bit. I gotta change it. Spanish. Myself once again, my new hit single, Dokken, spelled D-W-A-N. Check it out.
Did Sister Vagina show you that too?
Dude, she showed me that one lick. This one.
Only Mountain Dew.
Don't spill the Mountain Dew.
Why I'm here. This guy made everybody swear they wouldn't touch the amp after sound check. Every person in the room but one guy heard it. And they turned the amp off. Lost all the settings. Don't touch the amp.
All right. What's next? So you guys ever been to Vegas? Dude, okay, hold on a second. Okay. Airplanes, peanuts. What's up with that airplane food?
Not everybody sits in first class like the elite. Tell them about it.
Isn't that the name of your new bass model? With ESP? Oh, the peanut. Named it after your cock. Yeah. This is all we do when we're on the road. Oh, we just make fun of each other.
Bust balls. Yeah,
I love it. It's awesome. It's a good thing we don't have any chicks on the road. That's all guys, man. That's cool.
That's all we need. Each other.
Fuck. Bring back big brown hairy stinky butthole. Those are cool, right? You like those?
Not mine.
Same as a pussy, dude. So at least that's the way you explained it to me. Where you raped me. I thought you said you were a rapist. I thought we were gonna do write some rap music.
Once upon a time.
I always get those two words confused. Now my ass hurts. But that's probably because I went to the dentist and he said he wanted to check my rear cavities. Right? So I dropped my pants. Now my ass hurts. Dude, I'm trying to be funny. This is funny though. I need more jokes.
Tell them about your special technique that Japan loves.
What?
Your special playing technique of your vibrato.
What?
Your vibrato.
Oh, yeah. So, back in the day, I was in Japan. I used to go to Japan a lot, and we're pretty popular there and all this and that. And I was a very popular guitar player, and so I would go there, and then I'd do these appearances and clinics and stuff, and people would invariably ask me all these questions at these clinics, and I had a gentleman would be sitting here, and he'd be an interpreter. And so he asked me all these questions, and so I have this way a certain kind of vibrato technique. It's no big deal, but it's just, I don't know, it's a, and I call that horizontal vibrato because when I was a kid, I didn't know how to do that. So that was my cheat shortcut, and so they asked me for a name for it. They go, what do you call that? And they named it, I think. I think the Japanese named it, or I told them or something. And they go, call it jack-off vibrato. It's this thing, kind of go like that, right? So then in the music books over there, for the theory books, they would put, wherever I do that in the music, they would put a little symbol. It would say jack off, and then it would have a little sperm symbol with a little wiggly tail. And they took it seriously because Japanese people don't get our humor. It's a different thing, so culturally. So they're just like, okay. So I'm doing this clinic, like I'm sitting here with you, but the Japanese people asked me, the interpreter asked me, Mr. Lynch, fans would like for you to show them how you jack off. So that's what you was referring to, right? True story. True story. Yeah. I mostly lie. Rinch, right? Rinch mouth. Very unfortunate name. I'm constantly having to explain myself to people. I feel bad. I'm not kidding.
Just had a lady come in here with her son. She said he got in trouble at school for wearing a lynch mob shirt. Called him a racist. There's a lady in here. She's with her son. He wore a lynch mob shirt to school and he got in trouble because she said he was a racist because he had a lynch mob shirt on. But it's got your picture on it, so it makes sense. But
right. No, I'm totally against doing what that name implies. 100%. I think back in the day we thought of it more as, we knew what it implied, but it was seemed less serious in 1889 connotationally in context than it does now. But we're thinking, it could mean equally weighted as meaning, like Western days when we were a cattle rustler, and they string you up, That's kind of what we were thinking. We had kind of a Western thing because we lived in Arizona, we're from the desert, and so that's kind of what, I'm not trying to make excuses for it, but look, it's not as bad as KKK Downing's band, right?
KKK's priest.
Under the hood. No, that's an actual tribute band. There's a tribute band it's a Judas Priest tribute band that KK Down is in, and I think it's called KK Downing. I don't know if he's in it. Oh, KKK Priest. Oh, it's KK Priest? That really is true? Whatever. It's not like my new Dokken band, D-A-W-K-E. I've only known one joke my whole life. You've probably heard it 100 times. When I first met my wife, we were about ready to have sex, and she said, I want you to give me 9 inches and make it hurt, so I fucked her 3 times and hit her with a brick. That's pretty good.
What was it? You never hit a woman, but you slap a hoe?
That's right. That's an old, right? I recently had a case of, I've been getting sick lately a lot. It's crazy. I know we don't talk about this. Isn't it funny? But no, I came down with this. They have all these funny names for diseases now, and they're like cool. Like what I recently had was diverticulitis. You guys know about all that, huh? Good. My least favorite is chlamydia. You got rid of that, right?
It took a month.
A penicillin worked, right?
Yeah, I forget what they gave you.
Yeah. You had the same initials as Don Dokken for a second there. DD, Drippy Dick. Are you glad you did this with me?
Is that why you play with me?
Hey, dude, it's like neck lubricant.
I told you to wear gloves.
All right. Hey, nothing funny about chlamydia. Serious disease, dude. Can anybody spell it? It's really hard to spell. When we were on a tour of one of those cruises, and we're on the cruise ship, and you get off on a Caribbean island, and you go hang out. And there's one island. There was this, right when you got down onto the island, and you get off the boat and everything. There was a sign with this like happy-looking clam, and it was a warning against getting chlamydia, and it was called Clammy the Chlamydia. It was like the mascot for chlamydia. It was really clammy. I don't know. It was cool. Was it Cabo? All right. What's up with that Don Dokken?
Should we go there?
Well, no. I'm saying, listen, I see him all the time. We play together, and like he was. What was it recently? It was a couple weeks ago, right? And he goes, we're in a dressing room, and he goes, dude, what's up with the Donald Trump joke? Donald Trump joke. I go, come on, man, that was super funny. I mean, you got to take. And so the joke was, they asked me. I go, well, Don and Trump are like the same kind of people. They're the same kind of characteristics, and narcissistic and all that kind of stuff, manipulative. But the only difference is Donald Trump's a better singer. And that's funny, right? It's super funny. It's not true, probably. But no, I feel sorry for Don now because we live very close to each other. I live near Taos, New Mexico, primarily, and he lives in Santa Fe, which is a couple hours away. And we fly back a lot of times on the same flight. And after one flight, he didn't ride home, so I drove him home. I was by vehicle there at the airport in Santa Fe. So I drove him up into the hills to his, I think McMansion. And I forget where I was going with this, but
Didn't he hold you hostage at the house for like a tour?
oh, yeah. But yeah, it was cool. We hung out and everything like that. Yeah. I forget my point. I had a point. Anyways, oh yeah, the point being that it's very sad actually because Don used to play guitar when we first formed. It wasn't great because him and I had completely different styles. I had one, he didn't, and so it was like contrarian things going on simultaneously. It's not good, you know. So eventually we didn't do that anymore. But he still, plays guitar and he owns guitars and things like that. It's all good. But he's had medical things, and it's actually very, very sad. And it's fucked up. But he's lost the use of one of his arms. So that's not good.
No, it's his right hand. He's paralyzed in his right hand. He can
Just the right hand.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that sucks. But I mean, you got to make the best of it, So he does, and it's all cool. But it's funny because we'll be talking, and just the way he is that if you bring any subject up, he's done that
one-upper.
way better than anybody in the world. Right? So if you bring up fishing, he's caught a great white barehanded, and we jumped overboard, stabbed it with a knife, cut up the fish by himself, donated all the poor children, fed the needy. He's a hero. Name a subject, Anyways, so the subject was motorcycles, So I got a couple bikes, and of course, and he starts telling me how he I'm riding my bike, and I go here, and I go that, and I do this, and I do that. Well, thinking, how do you ride a bike with one arm?
That the chainsaw.
The chainsaw, right? So I do, a significant amount of that because I have to, because we I go up and help. Well, anyway, it doesn't matter. But anyways, so he, of course, now he chainsaws a lot. And he says, yeah, I cut 4 cords of wood this year. He said, yeah, I do. You ever use a chainsaw with one arm? It's really hard, dude. So you got to step on it to start it then with one arm. Okay, that's hard enough. And then how do you grab it and run the throttle? I mean, chainsaws are not light, I don't understand, dude. He's like a professional lumberjack.
Yeah,
Tell by the way he sings.
He tried to say he put in an 80-foot railroad tie in his backyard. I'm like, first of all, where do you even get an 80-foot railroad tie? But he was dead serious.
Yeah, well, I think he demolished the railroad itself. He took up all the tracks and everything like that. Yeah.
With his left hand.
Anyway, Don's an easy target. I'm just kidding around. So anyways, I wanted to talk a little bit about the Shadow Train project. I don't know if you guys ever were aware that I did this project, Shadow Nation Shadow Train. Yeah, people ask me if I have any Native American blood in me, and what I usually tell them is the last time I had a little Indian in me, I visited the indigenous gay bar. That went over good, dude.
They hit you with the arrowhead? I might look young, but we're just a bunch of old guys.
I didn't see your name on the marquee, dude.
That's right.
This is slowly becoming the Jaron Gulino show. The Gulino mob. I see the writing on the wall. I might as well just retire. I'll be executive guitar player. How about that? We'll bring some guy to actually play the dumb notes, whatever. But I'll sort of be hanging out like in a smoking jacket. One of those things you put around your neck. What? Ascot. And I'll have a monocle. Like 007, and I'll have what are those things when you're a conductor? You use whatever. Anyways, I'll be. Yeah. I'll be. But I'll get most of the money. Right? Yeah. What? That's all I care about. I don't really care about music. Music's dumb. I mean, there's 12 notes. How many ways can you play 12 notes?
A lot.
Well, that's the whole thing with guitar, just to be serious for a second, or music in general, I feel, is that, you know, as you said, it's basically simple, but the thing that makes it really unique, can be unique about it, is when you put your own voice to it, obviously, which is stating the obvious, obviously. Easier to say, harder to do. But it's actually going beyond that. It isn't hard, it just is. It's a thing that just happens. I mean, you obviously have to practice, you have to train, you have to develop and learn, and so forth. But having said all that, whether you do that or not, you either have an inner voice or you don't. And so some of us are lucky enough to have that, but shouldn't take credit for it because it's just, you know, it's inherent in who we are. I'm not just speaking for myself, speaking for other people that have unique styles, you know what I mean? It's just the way we hear the world, you know. So, anyways. So it's funny when I teach or I'll talk and I'll say, or do an interview, and it's almost like I'm giving advice, but it's really, it can't be advice because you can't learn that, you know, I don't think. You can emulate someone, and you can learn theory, but you can't learn to have, I think, a unique voice. I don't think. But I will say that the way I developed as a player was by listening to everybody that did have unique voices, and maybe that's all it is just an amalgamation of all those different influences over the years, including Hendrix, Beck, you know, the Four Horsemen, Page and Clapton. I grew up in that era. I was fortunate enough to be, whatever, I was 15 years old or whatever, when all that happened. When Jeff Beck Truth came out. I was in my best friend's bedroom and we were listening to it on the turntable and going, oh my God, or Zeppelin 1. Hendrix, Are You Experienced? These were all very, you know, seminal, real basic influences on me. This was during my development as a guitar player. That's what I got to learn from, was Beck, Page, and Cream. Can't leave out Cream. You know, I don't even like to say this because it's negative, but, you know, I've always been very disappointed in the way Clapton developed. But, you know, I always wanted Clapton to be the Clapton that I grew up with, you know, the Cream Clapton. Yeah, that was my hero. I mean, this guy was Eddie's hero. If you ever heard Eddie before Van Halen when he was in Mammoth and he played Les Paul through a Fender Bassman, he was Clapton-esque. Yeah, no whammy bar, no tapping, but it was awesome in a different way. But Clapton was his mentor and was a lot of ours. You know. And you know, now he's older and he is what he is, and people writing songs for him. And he has another guitar player playing solos in his band. Who's the Texas guy? Bramall. Oh, that guy, Jesus. I love him so much. So, anyways, you know, I think it's a really good thing I never got rich, because I still got the fire.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got a bunch of money like this fucker, then you don't care no more, and then you just fucking rest on your laurels.
When you have all the money, you can just play one note all night long.
I mean, you just fuck them, dude. You're getting paid. You don't care. How do you think you afforded that? That's like a nice get up here. I had to rent this. From him. Yeah. Double dipping. That should be the name of your production company on your business card.
It's my signature move.
I like how everything associated with you is double D's. The women that you like, their tit size, your drippy dick, and double dipping, and Don Dokken. All double.
And Don Dokken.
Yeah, I guess anyways, I try to be, I think it's important to be humble, but it has to, in my case, it's sort of a false humility. So you do this thing called humble bragging. You know what that is? That's, well, you guys know, you ever heard that term, humble bragging?
Yep.
Yeah. So I do a lot of that. So, but enough about me. I don't like being up here talking about myself. What'd you guys think of my last album? Yeah. That was pretty good. You like that transition? The timing. It's all about timing, dude. When you're a comedian like I am, it's all about timing. Who's our favorite comedian of all time? I mean, not of all time, I guess. Well, I guess.
Sam Kinison.
Yeah.
Carl, yeah. Nice play. Carl. Eddie
Nice.
Murphy.
George Lynch.
All those guys. George Lynch. That's what I was waiting for. Yeah. I say Norm Macdonald. Anybody ever seen Norm Macdonald live?
Yeah.
I mean, he's dead now, so, which blows my mind. So there's two people's death that I still not, well, no, three, that I cannot get over. That still, you know, people die, whatever. But Eddie Van Halen, just that does not compute with me yet. I just can't figure it out. I mean, you get unlimited money. You can't get fixed. I mean, was he negligent? I mean, I get it. Big C takes people out, but god damn, I miss him so much. Jeff Beck. I know why you're clapping at Jeff Beck's death. That's weird. And then, but then Norm Macdonald also, that just very young, and I don't know, man. I love him so much. As more, not as a comedian, obviously, but as a person too. I mean, he does some. There are things on YouTube where you can see him speak about things, not just about comedy, you know, which his philosophy of life and other things, religion and spirituality, things like that. He's like a really deep person, but I just thought his outlook of life was just so beautiful. And it's always the Canadians, right? They're so funny and so normal. I like that. I think we can learn a lesson from our Canadian neighbors. But anyways, not a lot of Canadian fans here apparently. Remember when they had the what's the cartoon guys that we like?
Terrence and Phillip.
Was it Ren and Stimp? Not Ren and Stimp. No. No, what's the South Park? South Park.
Yeah.
But what's the offshoot of South
Terrence and
Park?
Phillip.
The two Canadian guys. Terrence and Phillip. And remember in a Terrence Phillip episode, there was a running gag about the United States invading Canada?
Yeah.
And now that's like a reality? Are you freaking kidding me? How insane is that? I'm not going to get political at all, but I'm just saying that's just on a logical, rational level. What a crazy fucking thing that is. I just can't get my head wrapped around that. But anyways, all right. I digress. Oh. What's up with these fucking singers, dude? I'll get back to guitar playing here in a second because, but singers, I mean, they're a necessary evil, right? You gotta have them. Unless you're, see, I can't sing. I wish I could, in my own mind, I'm the world's greatest singer. I mean, I can hear it. And I'm partly kidding, but partly there's a kernel of truth in that I'm a huge fan of singers. I listen to singers more than I listen to guitar music, to be quite honest. You know, I listen to Aretha, and I listen to Al Green, and I listen to all the blue, R&B stuff and soul stuff, and that's what I love, and that's what I take inspiration from. Because I think instruments invariably are just emulating the human voice, which is the most expressive instrument we have, right? So, Aretha, oh, Jesus, what else would you possibly need ever in the history of human creative endeavors, you know? It's the most beautiful thing, but what was I talking about? Oh, how does that lead to a hot tub? Aretha Franklin in the hot tub? I think there's a couple of points missing in that. So my point being, fucking singers, right? I mean, I wish I could be in Aretha Franklin's band, but I can't, so. And she wouldn't like me anyways. I remember playing, I love just sitting in with people, and when I lived in Arizona, I used to sit in with Big Pete McPherson's blues band. And I remember one time I was up on stage and playing with them, and had my Soldano plugged in, turned to, dime to 100, 100 watts. It's just like 130 decibels. This is a little blues band, and this colored woman who's the singer looks over at me like I hit her in the head with a hammer. I was like, what the fuck, what are you playing? I was so devastated, by that, because I really wanted to fit in, and I love the blues, but anyways, singers. So we have this singer, what was his name? Oni Logan, great. In his heyday, there was nothing better. He should be, I believe, in the pantheon of, Freddie Mercury, Paul Rogers, Robert Plant, all the greats. I think he should be up. I think he deserves to be up there. But, through a series of misadventures, or possibly his own fault, things didn't work out for him. But he created, he left a legacy with that one record, Wicked Sensation, which I think is just, he's a poet, and he's kind of a unique, world-class, historically significant singer. But that doesn't mean he's not a flawed individual like all of us, right? So there was, in the later years, more recent decades, he came and stayed at our house, my wife and I, in California, with his girlfriend. And he's kind of an interesting guy, where he didn't always respect other people's boundaries or what he did. His behavior affected others, which is part of the reason we kicked him out of the band. Which I regretted doing, but anyways. But this one visit, they were there for like a week. So they were staying in a hotel, and I go, hey man, why don't you stay in that fucking trucker hotel? Why don't you come and stay at our house right down the street? Just stay with us, we got a lot of space. So they started getting comfortable there, so they would go in the hot tub outside every night. And my wife and I were being, in the bedroom upstairs, and we had the sliding door open, we could hear, outside the breeze come in and everything like that. And we're sitting there, and all of a sudden, we hear what sounds like a wild wildebeest being wounded. It was Oni having an orgasm in the jacuzzi, and you don't want to hear that, right? Because then you got to play with this guy afterwards, and it's not the same. Yeah. Was that the story? Was there a point to that? Don't let your singer swim in your jacuzzi is the point.
The wounded water buffalo.
Then wounded water buffalo, and then wildebeest, and then when he was first in the band, I said, hey, he was in a band called Ferrari, so I went to see him play at the Whiskey in California, and then I went up backstage afterwards, and I said, hey man, kind of an infamous line between us anyways, and I said, hey man, you want to be in a band called Ferrari, or you want to drive one? So long story short, he joined the band, and I gave him my Corvair. I had a '64 Corvair convertible. It's like a Ferrari if you squint in the dark and look at it with sunglasses. I put a Ferrari emblem on it, so he would think it was a Ferrari, because he's dumb, he didn't know. It didn't go fast. Eventually broke down on me. He left it abandoned in the desert for me to find and tow it to wherever, I forget. Yeah. Singers are bad people, dude. Special place in hell.
That's why we got that robot to sing.
Oh, yes. We had a singer, we've had so many singers, dude. Jesus, revolving door, right? That's what I love about this version of the band, is that it's actually, we've maintained, Jaron and I, a little bit of revolving door with the drummers, but between Jimmy and Brian, we're pretty consistent. So it's given us, and Andrew Freeman has been pretty regular with the band. He's awesome. Everybody loves Andrew. Yeah, he's awesome. So we'll be playing tomorrow night in Chicago? Minnesota.
Same thing.
Middle. I just call it the middle, upper middle. But anyways, yeah, no, he'll be. He's so wonderful. He's such a great guy. We have so much history. A little personal story between Andrew and I. We used to butt heads a bit. Andrew's he's kind of a fighter, right? He will go. I mean, I've been with him in the car where we had problems with like somebody. It was fans chasing us back from a gig or something like that, trying to follow us. and we got to a light, and they were behind us. He jumped out of the car and started pummeling the guys, just dragging out. I mean, he's crazy. This guy's fucking crazy. So we used to butt heads a little bit, but now he's just so sweet, and you know, he really is. And he's really transformed himself. It's been a thing that he's obviously worked on all his life. So I respect that. But I had an incident where I was playing a show in Vegas, and I had a medical incident where I literally flatlined, passed out on stage. My breathing went down to nothing, my blood pressure, whatever it is, you know. I was in an ambulance, passed out, and was essentially dead for a little while. And he was in the ambulance with me, and he went with me to the hospital, and he stayed with me for 24, 36 hours by my bedside, never left. And I never forgot that. And when somebody does that, makes that kind of commitment and stays by your side during one of the worst moments in your life, you never forget that. So I love the guy for that. So anyways, so we've become very good friends, and I don't know, do I have a point to that?
Yeah, I want to tell him about the robot, but let me get a little backstory on that.
What?
Want to give a little backstory on that real quick?
On the robot?
Yeah.
Yeah. So well, in between Andrews, we had another singer for a very short period of time, and who remained nameless, but a known guy, but not super well known. But anyways, so he came. A lot of people were saying, "Oh man, this is the guy. This is the guy. This is the guy." So I called the guy up. I go, "Hey, I'm just kind of feeling him out." I go, "I've never seen you. Can you tell me what you look like?" He goes, "I'm a chick magnet." I go, "Wow, okay, wow, all right, yeah, no, I got a lot of chicks pregnant, and everybody where I go, everybody wants to fuck me. I'm really good looking. Okay, well, that's good. I'm the world's greatest singer. I really dress really good, and everything." So then, weeks later, we're on the road and we go to pick him up at the airport. We've never seen the guy. I think this is maybe before the internet or something. Or no, the picture he sent was like a 30-year-old picture.
Yeah.
And we're driving the van on the side of the airport. We're baggage claiming. We're looking for the guy. We're looking at the picture. Where's the guy? We're supposed to. And then I see this guy with a bald but with a French beret, with a big ponytail, with a big pot belly, in sweats, like
Hunchback.
Huh?
With a hunchback.
Yeah, he had a frickin' hunchback. I'm like, and he's drooling and. Oh yeah, is that him? Quasimodo over there? That was him. So we get him in the band, and we're just like, oh fuck. And then so we go play, and we played this. I don't know how many gigs we did with him. Were you in the band at the time?
It was my first show.
Oh my god.
We did 2 shows with him.
So it was an outdoor.
Yeah,
an
6,000
outdoor
people in Michigan with Dokken. Lynch Mob opening it up.
So it's a festival, and then regional festival or something, and so big crowd, and we get out there, and then he's just randomly. So he had this fucking thing when we picked him up at the airport. This
Huge luggage.
Yeah, this like this big of a flight case or bigger. It's on wheels, and we go, "What the fuck is that?" He goes, "Oh, that's my teleprompter." I go, "What?" So it's a thing that's but it's like a robot, it looked like R2D2, and his head swiveled and it moved around on stage, like a little remote, and it had a screen where he could read the lyrics. It would follow him around on stage so he could look at the lyrics. But it was like, it was tall, so it was like he had this little buddy on stage, robot buddy. It was the most surreal thing I'd ever experienced in my life. It was crazy. What the fuck is going on, And he still would forget all the words, and he'd forget all the songs, because he wouldn't look at the robot. So I go, why don't we just give the robot the mic? So, and so one day, remember he just walked off the stage?
Well, yeah, so someone let him borrow the teleprompter, but he didn't know how to use it. And the first gig, he's like, "Hey, do you know how to work a computer?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's trying to load the lyrics on here, so whatever ended up happening, he couldn't figure out how to switch the page. So for a whole show, he just had one song's lyrics up the whole time. So at one point, we're doing a jam in the middle of a song, just buying time and waiting for him to come in with the line, and he couldn't figure out what the line was. So he just started going, Daylight come and me one go home, and walks off the stage and leaves us up there with no singer. It was insane. Luckily, it was my first show with the band, so it made me look really good, and that's how I got the gig.
Yeah, we told Jaron, hey, you're not very good, but you're way better than that guy, so you get to be in Lynch Mob. There's not a very high bar with Lynch Mob, by the way.
She's pretty good.
Who?
Jerry.
Emphasis on pretty. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Exceptional.
What's up with the COVID? Jesus Christ. Yeah. You just shoot me.
He's the largest of me.
Well, no. I mean, hey, that's occupational hazard when you get married, right? It's always for the guy, though. It's always the wife doesn't like the guy. What's up with that? Why can't it ever be the other way around? My wife doesn't like me either. How could you not like me? Seriously. I know. Could you talk to my wife, please? I'll give you her cell number. Just listen. She likes when you call her a bitch. Listen, bitch. You need to fucking start treating George Lynch better. He's Mr. Scary, goddammit. Yeah. Respect the misogyny. Just kidding. Yeah. No, she knows who the boss is. I mean, all I got to do is just pull out my slapping hand a little bit, and she flinches, and she knows what's up. You got to keep your bitches in line, right? That's what you said. That's what he's been telling me.
That's what you taught me.
Yeah. These bitches be tripping with me. I'm kidding. My wife can kick my ass. She's a 6 feet tall Sicilian Russian kickboxer. And she is one tough cookie. Yeah. She's no joke. She will fuck you up. Oh, yeah, play something. Okay. Yeah. Sit here all day. I'm out of licks and I'm out of jokes. So I guess we should move on. Just thank you guys for being here. And I want you to go away from this and just feel like, I just would just urge everybody and hope that we can all just, with everything that's going on in the world right now, just treat each other better. And realize that we're all human. And we got a lot at stake. We're very fortunate to be who we are, where we are in this country. and having all the beautiful blessings that we have. Don't take that for granted and fuck our own selves up by behaving badly, right? So I love you guys very much, and thank you for being here tonight, and be safe. Thank you. Good speech, huh?
Aren't you gonna sing Amazing Grace for them a cappella?
Don't get me started, dude. That's the next show.
Come back for more.